for the fantasy football season. And here's a few running backs I would look to drop this week. The first guy is Tyson Williams of the Baltimore Ravens. So he had a good week one ball game, was Williams, versus the Vegas Raiders. But since then, he hasn't done much of anything. Week one at the Raiders, 9 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown with 3 catches for 29 yards. Week 2 versus the Chiefs, 13 carries, 77 yards, 2 catches for 16 yards. And Week 3 at Detroit, only 5 carries, 22 yards. In this ball game, the Baltimore Ravens, they were leading most of it, so it's not like they had to throw the ball a lot in Week 3 versus the Detroit Lions. And Latavius Murray, he only had 7 carries in that game, and Devonta Freeman as well got a few carries. So right here, it's pretty much a 3 split almost in that backfield for the Ravens. And we saw Lamar Jackson try to run the football a lot. He threw the football a lot in this game. And right now in this game at Detroit, you figured they would try to get the ground game going, was the Baltimore Ravens, with the Detroit Lions giving up the second most fantasy points to running backs. But that just hasn't been the case. And right now, none of these running backs are good options in fantasy football. So right now, Tyson Williams is a guy I probably would drop if you could get better options out there. The next running back is Ronald Jones of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I recommended to drop Jones last week, and I'm going to continue to recommend to drop him. He's still owned in 70% of fantasy leagues. And in Week 3 at the Los Angeles Rams, another bad ball game for him. 5 carries, 11 yards. So right here, it's another 3-headed type of thing over there as well in Tampa Bay, with Gio Bernard, obviously, Leonard Fournette, and Ronald Jones. But right now, Ronald Jones, he hasn't done anything this season in the first 3 weeks. Week 1 versus Dallas, 4 carries, 14 yards, and a fumble loss. Week 2 versus Arizona, 6 carries, 27 yards, a catch for 9 yards. And Week 3, like I mentioned, 5 for 11. So right now, there's no reason for me to believe that Bruce Arians is just going to give all the reins and the running back assignments here to Ronald Jones. So right now, he's struggling. He's not getting anything going, and he's an easy drop at the running back position. And the third and final running back is David Johnson of the Houston Texans. So Johnson, just like the 2 other guys I mentioned, he's in a 3-back committee over there with the Houston Texans, is Johnson. He's with Phillip Lindsay, he's with Mark Ingram, and then himself, obviously. So Week 1 versus Jacksonville, 3 carries, only 10 rushing yards, 3 catches, 18 yards, and a touchdown. Week 2 at Cleveland for David Johnson, 6 carries, 25 yards, 2 catches, 22 yards. And Week 3 versus Carolina, 2 carries, 11 yards. And Week 4, another tough matchup at Buffalo. So right now, Johnson, he's been dropped in 8% of fantasy leagues over the last few days. But right here, after not doing anything in this ball game and only getting 2 touches, he's an easy drop this week. So that's a few running backs I would look to drop in Week 4 of the fantasy football season.